Yo ho ho ho, yo 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 ho ho. Yo! It is time for more One Piece, so let's go ahead and get it started! What the darn? It's good to see you. It's so good to see you, my friend. It's been so long. I'm glad you came here. You have no idea. But I cannot wait to read today's chapter. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Qushu 92 here. Welcome back to more One Piece. In the last chapter, we officially saw the end of Rocks, the dissolvement of the Rocks pirates, everyone going their separate ways, Garp going his separate way, Roger going his separate way with the thanks of Gavin and Rayleigh, and the events that followed was essentially the aftermath of Rox's death. Even though the world government tried to cover up as much as possible, news still managed to find its way out there. And then we also cut to Loki reacting to the fact that Rox is now dead, the very person that he wanted to sail with, just crying his eyes out that the person he idolized is now gone. And on top of that, Harold proceeds to make a spectacle of himself, being upset that giants are creating a bad name for that some giants are pillaging humans and making a bad name for the giants, but also lamenting over the fact that because he wanted to get in good with the world government, he wasn't able to help out Rox, because he would have helped him. So, in order to really get buddy with the world government, he decides, I am going to rip off my horns at the center of the world, which is Marineford at the time, and rip my horns off and say that I will do anything it takes for the giants to be recognized by the world government, even if I have to make a slave out of myself. And unfortunately, Emu was listening in on this entire thing. So let's see what happens with 1157... Ida's Sons. Reader requests Gen and Nojiko scolding a cat trying to steal a book, but they're not really mad by the ideal Sanji, because this cat reminds them of how Nami used to be when Nami was growing up with both Nojiko and Belmare, because Nami used to steal books as well. So with Nami, it was a book about navigation and about the world, whereas this cat is stealing a book about fish. So I feel like there's a bit of a nostalgia vibe because, this cat reminds them of Nami. And also the theme of cat burglar Nami is still very present. So cat burglar Nami, cat stealing a book. Yeah, it's not lost on me. Chapter 1157, Ida's Sons. 33 years ago, 5 years after God Valley. And we get civilians who are being interviewed by Morgans. We were all freaking out that there were pirates off the coast when all of a sudden, an enormous figure appears out of the mist behind them. And Morgans is taking all of this down. Seafloor, impelled down. Seafloor prison, impelled down. Boom! And the next thing I knew, the ship was in splinters. We were sunk in a matter of seconds. Yeah, by Neptunian, right? No, it was like human. And then we get more people reporting. And did this event take place in the Florian Triangle? Not even close. You think there are any fish worth catching out there? We don't go near it. All I can say is it was a monster of human form. At this time, the countries of the Grand Line were abuzz with a frightening rumor. A tale of a lurking monster that struck its targets, mostly pirate ships from the deeper mists out at sea. And it shows this giant ship and a giant man leaping out of the mist towards this pirate ship. Ah! In truth, this monster was Harold. But to the people on this sea who'd never even seen a giant before, the experience was pure terror. As part of his sworn oath of 1,000-year atonement, Harold assisted the Navy's efforts to uphold order. And it shows Harold basically just destroying pirate ships. If this wasn't the formation... I got something in mind, but I'm gonna see how this chapter plays out. Harold is just destroying ships at the behest of the world government. Meanwhile, the pirates who scattered to the winds after God Valley would grow in power over the next decade or two until they reached their primes and became the faces of their era. And in these panels, we show Kaido, Whitebeard, and Big Mom. All the while, as the pirates around them focused on claiming territory. And we have Wang Jui, who now has a scar over his head and now lets his hair just flow out completely, still over Pirate Island. Then we get Shiki off by himself. All the while, as the pirates around them focused on claiming territory, one crew achieved the seemingly impossible and succeeded in circumnavigating the globe. The Roger Pirates! The crew led by the king of the pirates, Gold Roger. When he was captured sometime later and publicly executed, the world government assumed it would serve as a demonstration of their strength. However, the allure of his massive fortune, the One Piece, sent the world into an era of frenzied madness. To counteract the arrival of the unforeseen great era of piracy, Navy headquarters recruited over a dozen giants from various regions in the hopes of bolstering their ranks, i.e., use Mother Caramel and her child trafficking network. Harold, meanwhile, who had been faithfully serving as a tool of the Navy. And we are in Marijois now. We're in Marijois. He was huge, an ancient giant, they say. I want it as a slave. Harold, meanwhile, who had been faithfully serving as a tool of the Navy, was finally given official access to the Holy Land this year. And Harold is sitting in the room of power with the elders. A Shallow's Covenant? And then we get Warcury. Indeed, you are now a trusted weapon of the Holy Knights of God. A devoted blade. And Bro, is this the same tattoo Shanks had on his arm? That can't be the same tattoo. Hold on, dial it back! Back when Shanks was speaking to Gabin in Elbath, before Shanks lost his arm, did Shanks have that same tattoo? You know, on the same arm that he would lose later on in life. Is that the same tattoo? Hold on! Indeed. You are now a trusted weapon of the Holy Knights of God, a devoted blade. And then Harold is looking at this tattoo on his arm. And apparently that's what it means if you have a Shallow's Covenant. It's an honor. And then we get Saturn. The Covenant has 3 stages. The Shallow's Covenant is but a mere trace of a bond. But the Depths Covenant and Abyssal Covenant are reserved for only 13 exclusive individuals who can enter into a contract with the true God. Bro, this thing has stages. What do you mean this thing has tiers? What do you mean this thing has tiers? Oh, wait a minute. That sounds like my dad. And he brought food with him. Food for him and me. I gotta think about this. Give me a moment. Let me help him bring the food in, because he's also bringing drinks, and I don't want him to have to really deal with that. Let me go down and help him real quick. We're gonna talk about this! I ran. Please forgive me. What do you mean these covenants have stages? They have tiers. Shallow's covenant, Depth's covenant, Abyssal covenant.
The covenant has 3 stages. The Shallow's covenant is but a mere trace of a bond.
And then Warkery continues with, I'm gonna pace myself, but I'm gonna get through this. Don't be surprised if I scream again.
But the Depth's covenant and Abyssal covenant are reserved for only 13 exclusive individuals who can enter into a contract with the true God.
And then Harold is confused and goes, what is this gold you speak of? And then we get Ethan Baron who goes, if the day should come that you are made a proper knight, then you will know the truth in the depths of the world. And then Harold goes, and is that when Elbaf will be allowed to join the government? And then Saturn just casually says,
of course, Harold. You will be announced to the world and you will be welcomed.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it! These jokers are liars. They're liars. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Any more than I trusted them saying like, oh yes, York, we'll make you a celestial dragon if you do all this stuff that we want of you. By the way, how do you do all of this stuff? Tell it to us in great detail. No, don't worry, you'll still be able to become a celestial dragon. No, don't worry. Just like Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Could you hold still for me, please? And you just puts the air gun just right to the head.
Of course, Harold. It will be announced to the world, and you will be welcomed.
And then Harold, like a naive child, goes, I am grateful for this honor. I'll do anything you ask of me. Bro, this is oh my goodness! This is our first time seeing a place different in Marijua. Shangara, the Knights Temple, land of the gods. This is where the Holy Knights reside. We finally have I've been saying this for years. We don't know next to nothing about Marijua in terms of locations and everything in it. And Oda gives us a chapter showing us a new portion of it. Shangara, the Knights Temple, land of the gods. And we have Garling, who's older, and his beard is starting to really grow in. Commander, Holy Knights of God, Figureland family, Saint Garling. What is the Great One thinking? And then we get a young Somers.
Can the King of Elbaf actually take orders?
And then we have Shamrock, not saying anything, looking exactly like his brother. And then we have Harold, who's also in the Knights Temple, with him going, of course, your word is my command. And then Garling just casually goes, thank you, Father. I appreciate you.
Oh, yes,
Then Garling says, we will call if we need you. Keep a long-distance transponder snail on your person. You are free to visit the lower world, but you will not speak a word of what goes on here.
Understood.
I can't believe that I'm still in the beginning of this chapter. There's so much. 20 years ago, Fishman Island, Ryugu Kingdom.
Ho, 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 ho.
And we have Harold and King Neptune speaking to each other.
It's been too long since I had such a good laugh, Neptune. The same, my friend, the same. We have too many troubles on our minds. First of all, no, I very much doubt your son is some kind of devil child. I mean, can he possibly be worse than you were?
Well, when you put it that way.
Actually, a fortune teller told me that I would receive a daughter 4 years from now.
You checking to make sure? What's up? So they only gave us like 1 honey mustard and 1 ranch.
Yeah.
They didn't give.
I told him I want honey mustard and ranch on each meal.
One job.
One job.
One job. We both eating chicken. We both eating food. How you gonna put just one thing of sauce for just one person meal?
One job. You need some ketchup. Plenty of that.
Oh, I saw we got ketchup. I'll grab some. But Dad, if you want my honey mustard, you can go ahead and take it. All right. One job. One job. They had to put two things of sauces for two meals, and they only put like one in there. Thanks, Dad. Thanks. One job, Dad.
Actually, a fortune teller told me that I would receive a daughter 4 years from now. What do you say? We can betroth your Loki to my daughter.
Forget about it. Listen, I'm not talking about any old...
Listen, I'm not talking about any ordinary mermaid. Supposedly, she might be born with wild, disruptive powers.
And while he's talking about this, we have Queen Otohime holding Momboshi, while the other brother, the older one, I forget his name, it's something Hoshi, I forget. But we got Momboshi being held by Otohime.
In that case, it sounds like a match made in heaven. Let's have a toast to the future of my little brat and your shaggy daughter. She will not be shaggy.
That year, our library, Elbaf.
Of course you can settle down here, soul. I appreciate that. But I wanted to ask you something. What's that? Would you join with the educated of Elbaf? Would you join with the educated of Elbaf and open a school here?
And it shows the place where the school would be built, right there on Elbaf. And mind you, this is also Saul after the events of Ohara.
A school, huh? Sounds nice.
15 years ago, there was a shocking incident in Sacred Marijwa. Fisher Tiger?! Fisher Tiger! What? Fisher Tiger? 15 years ago, there was a shocking incident in Sacred Marijwa. My slaves have escaped! They've broken their cages open! Get out! Hurry! You want to spend...
Get out! Hurry! You want to spend your life in chains?
And it's Fisher Tiger, and he's running through the streets, and he runs into someone with a sword. More than likely, Shamrock.
Darn it! You a knight of God?
No. That's not Shamrock. That's not Shamrock. Because the person who rushes Fisher Tiger cuts his obedience collar off. I've left the armory unlocked. Here's how to get there. Is that Shanks? Is that Shanks? Did Shanks help Fisher Tiger? Shanks helped everybody! I've left the armory unlocked. Here's how to get there. And Fisher Tiger is confused as his obedience collar falls off of his neck. And then there's explosions everywhere as everyone gets guns and they just start obliterating the place. Hurry, sister! And we have Hancock. We have Hancock and her sisters the day they escaped. Hurry, sister! Send her Sonia. Someone's come. They're fighting for us. We can escape this hell. Hurry, Koala! We're getting out of here! Wow. This moment that happened, that freed the Boa sisters, and also led Koala to be freed as well. This incident, caused by the future captain of the Sun Pirates, Fisher Tiger, was known as the ransacking of Sacred Marijwa. And instead of it just being Boa Hancock and her sisters running from the flames of Marijois, we see everyone else who was freed during this entire ransacking. And then we get Harold.
Sounds like it was quite the night. We were thinking someone from our side might have opened up the armory to them. So we're looking for the rat now.
And then it cuts to some of the nobles going, "Put him to death!" And then we get Garland going,
Harold, allow me to introduce you. Huh?
This is Shanks. It was Shanks. It was Shanks. It was Shanks. It was Shanks. He helped Fisher Tiger and everyone. If it wasn't for Shanks, Fisher Tiger wouldn't have been able to get out. Boa Hancock. Oh my goodness, Shanks helped everyone!
Harold, allow me to introduce you. This is Shanks. He's the younger brother of Shamrock, separated after birth. He's been through the gauntlet of the lower world, but if entered into a Depth's Covenant, he'll be an instant boost, likely on the level of Shamrock. For the time being, we'll use him as a devoted blade of God like you. I thought the same thing with Shamrock at first, but have we met before? I don't know you, you great lumbering peon. How dare you speak to me as if we're equals? I've always had the blood of Figureland in my veins. Mark my words, I'll be a knight before you.
And mind you, Shanks has bandages going over his eyes, so this is during the time when he received his scars. He's got bandages going over his left eye. And then Harold, taken aback by Shanks's rudeness, we all know this ain't Shanks. He goes,
"Oh, my mistake."
But Shanks looks away. And mind you, when it comes to people who are sincere about their words, there wouldn't be a shadow over their eye. But there is with Shanks, meaning that he is not at all sincere about speaking this way to Harold at all.
Let's go, Shamrock. Tell me more about the Holy Land. I want to be the hero who captures the one responsible for the attack. Any clues?
And then he's speaking to Shamrock.
There's still time to do this once your wound is healed, Shanks. You don't know how it feels to learn you've wasted 24 years of your life. I always knew I was different from the others.
Oh no, wait, that's Shanks going,
"There's still time to do this once your wound is healed, Shanks. You don't know how it feels to learn that you've wasted 24 years of your life. I always knew I was different from the others."
Devoted blade of God, Figureland family, Saint Shanks. Saint Shanks. And Holy Knight of God, Figureland family, Saint Shamrock. And Shanks continues going,
"I hated everything down there."
Really putting on that facade, isn't he? And Harold is just listening in, just paying attention to him as he walks away.
That year, Fisherman Village, Elbath. Nope, can't help. I don't know enough about medicine. Let's call Harold and ask him to send a good doctor with proper stuff.
No, you can't. He's busy with his job.
What's the government connection good for if not for us?
Just watch. I'll get better on my own.
Oh, oh no, she's coming down with the we can't heal this disease. No!
Seems to me you've been getting worse by the day. Harold'll be heartbroken if he sees you like this.
And then we get Ida talking to Mato. Remember, Mato is the one who runs Ida's bar now.
You run the bar for me, Mato. No, not when you're sick, Ida.
You know what Harold does each time he comes home? He visits all the elders and asks me to make you his true wife. And asks to make you his true wife.
The fool. I prefer running that little bar, meeting all those sailors from far-off lands.
And she's steadily coughing.
Makes me feel like I've been helping Harold out in my own little way.
And then someone screams outside going, "Hey, outsider hag!" And this gets Mato's attention.
Oh! Loki!
And it's a much older Loki now.
Got some fresh meat to feed her. That bar's a nice chill place for me to hang out at. I need her open again.
And then the person who's looking after Ida goes,
He's gotten bigger, but he's still the same impudent brat inside. You're the only one who can tame that little beast.
and then we have Harudin, who's much bigger as well.
Harudin's off with his comrades, searching overseas for a doctor for you. So both of your sons have a lot of love for you.
And then Ida's steadily coughing, but she continues.
You're all making a big fuss out, a big deal out of nothing. I'm just fine. That's really sweet of them, though.
Brewer's Village, Loki's mother's home, Elbaf.
Huh? What'd you say?
And then it cuts to Loki going to Loki's mother's home in Brewer's Village. This is the one where I forgot her name. She was so insignificant. Loki's actual birth mother going with he's saying like,
Huh? What'd you say?
I said we don't want that outsider woman becoming the queen. You agree with that, right, Loki? Estrid.
there it is, Estrid.
Estrid's the true queen, and she's from our people. They can't take away our fortune and status. So we gave that wench a little poison. This ergot spores won't stop once they've taken root.
She's been poisoned. It's not, I can't cure this disease. She's been poisoned by Estrid's own village people. Oh, I hate them.
It's certain death.
Mato, get in touch with Held at once!
I will.
And then it shows Ida looking like she might be on her last legs, going,
It doesn't matter if we're not related by blood. Loki's my dear sweet boy, just like Harudin is.
and then it shows Loki as this man set fire to the village.
Loki, stop!
Ida ain't gonna die, is she?
And then it shows Loki. Loki killed all these people. Loki killed all these people who took a part in Ida being poisoned.
I remember what my real mother did. She cast me out of the tree into the underworld. You want fortune? You people make me sick. Ida ain't gonna die, is she? Because she's the only mother I have!
Loki's just lonely. That's all. Wanna live with us?
Loki has acknowledged Ida as the only mother he has. And now, because of what this village did in their sadistic nature, because they feel like someone like Ida doesn't deserve to be queen, they poisoned her, and Loki says, all right, I'm running hands with all of y'all, and I'm killing every single one of you. Not going to, he's already doing it. The entire village, the home of Estrid, his own mother, he's already burned to the ground because of what they did to Ida. All right, Loki, you gone up a notch for me. Because that's how you do it. Oh, I'm proud of you, Loki. I'm proud of you. But that's the end of the chapter. Yo, now it's time to focus completely on this flashback. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Okay, let me see what you guys have said. Let me go in order. Let's see. I see Wanda Dawn, subject, Halster as well. Wait a minute. What happened? Are we good? Did it freeze up? I'm sorry, everybody. Let me see. Wanda Dawn, Ogata, subject. Good to see you. Yo, I'm good. How you been, Juan? Yeah. Ogata, 308, Saw. Good to see you. Yeah, you made it. Florian Triangle, monster reference. Heh. Been good. How about you? Been good as well, Ogata. So Herald was where they get the idea for Shichibukai. Subject, I wanted to wait until they said anything about it, but someone being under the employ of the government to deal with pirates, Herald has to be the first iteration of it. Let me. Shiki wasn't. Why would Oda waste in mentioning the Florian Triangle? And Shiki wasn't a Yonko. True, but they were big name pirates. But mind you, the people that were in the panel that was talking about pirates who made great names for themselves, it was mainly just Kaido, Whitebeard, and Big Mom. Shiki was shown as well, but he's not counted as, being in the same vein as a Yonko, understandably. We can finally confirm the other silhouette at the end of chapter 962 was Wang Ji. Did the Yonko system start when Shanks was recognized? We don't know. Ravi, it's good to see you. Ozzy, it's good to see you as well. Wasn't Mother Caramel dead by then? True, but that doesn't mean that the child trafficking network of giants and such stopped just because Mother Caramel died. Business is booming, regardless who's running it. Just saying. The Florian Triangle being mentioned here probably means those big beings weren't just something added for creepy vibes. Exactly. If they just recruited the giants, then they won't be by Mother Caramel. She'd be dead a long time. If I had to guess, it'd be through a draft or something. Yeah, more than likely. And yeah, you say, yeah, the same tattoo? Yep, it is. You know what they do with tools once they're done using them? They throw them away. Harold is very close from that happening. Yeah. Yes. It said the giants drafted in this chapter weren't from Elbaf. Seems they are from Saul's homeland. More than likely. W. Sun. Also, what is this twisted 13 Knights of the Round Table shenanigans? I was thinking the other zodiac sign that's referenced something. Seems like Oda retconned the Fisher Tiger scaled the red line thing. He's already a slave in this chapter? Huh. I wonder if that is a retcon. We'll have to go over the summary real quick. Thank you for your patience as I gone through this, everybody. Well, Boa was the one who said he did so it's not like she knows. Yeah, as far as Boa Hancock knows, she could be all like, he scaled the outside red line, but no, it was actually Shanks who helped out Fisher Tiger, who helped out everyone else. And mind you, during this time, Shanks has the scar already over his eye. There's 5 levels in geology, actually. Oh, thank you. Boa was one, and they got him. So Harold was the same rank as Gunko was in God Valley. Interesting. It's a cult, Harold. It's a cult! Run! Harold is a true definition of the word tool, and I feel so bad for him. That's what I'm saying. He's literally just going along with everything the world government says just because they said, like, oh yeah, sure. Fingers crossed behind their back. Sure, we'll welcome you directly into the world government. And my thing is, Emu basically let it slip that that's never going to happen. Emu basically says, like, a king as malleable and as easy to puppet as Harold doesn't come along all the time, so I will make good use of him. Emu has already stated that Harold is nothing more than a puppet to be used. I trust the Gorosei as far as I can throw them. Harold is just a naive fool. We've been saying this for a while. Rox has tried to warn him. We've tried to warn him, but we've been saying this for a while. Harold is just foolish with this whole notion. Let me see. Dad, there was the meeting between Spandam and the 5 elders by a pool in chapter 355. Technically, this is a cult. Marie Joie is Mount Caramel. The Celestial Dragons are the branch Davidians, and Emu is David Koresh. I have no idea who any of those people are. Harold is so submit that even some are surprised, like, look at this fool. Yeah, Harold's got his nose open wide. You know how a fella get when he gets a girl for the first time and he's just so happy with her and they're happy together, but there's something going on with her, but he don't want to see it because he's just so happy to be in a relationship. Got his nose wide open. And you can't tell him nothing. That's Harold, with the prospect of being accepted into the world government. He's so happy with the idea that anything good that is said to him by the world government, he just accepts. He doesn't question it at all. He's not questioning it at all. That should be a concern, considering this is the same world government that wanted to enslave the people that helped his entire country endure a famine. And said these people, since they're not affiliated with the world government, they are tools to be disposed of. They have no human rights. We don't consider them human at all. They are just things for us to abuse and use. And this is the same organization you want to be affiliated with? We tried to warn them. Let's see, this is a PG stream, so we won't be using other words to describe Harold. Oh, no. Well, yeah, you are right. So there are other words to describe Harold, but I'm going to keep it PG by saying, like, he's just a complete, utter fool. A fool of a lord, as it were. But he's that in every sense of the word. Let me see. Shirahoshi and Loki. What did Neptune try to breed a Leviathan? Fukaboshi. Thank you, Ozzy. Thank you. Mosa is Shirahoshi. Wait, Shaggy? Surely Shirahoshi isn't Loki's little pen pal. How'd that work? Man, that owl is as old as Zunisha. Yeah. And it's an owl an animal that has a devil fruit for this long. That's who Loki was talking to in the underworld. Yeah, Shaggy, but I don't want to say that Shaggy is Shirahoshi. I still believe it's Lord Jarl. Better be an important character. I'm going through everything you guys said. Yeah, Halster, you read my mind. It makes sense when you think about it now. Think back to the reverie when Charlos tried to enslave Shirahoshi. If you think about it, the way Mosa talked to Loki, quiet, similar to Shirahoshi. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. This is definitely going to be something we talk about in the reflections for tomorrow. I normally do it at the end of every single month, but simply because today is also the end of the month, it would just simply be too much, and I would be too tired after everything is said and done. So the reflections for all the chapters we got in November will be done tomorrow on December 1st. So I hope to see you guys there. Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot that happened at the Reverie. Oh, no, a school. How dare Harold build a school for the world government to weaken Elbaf? Oh, wait, it's like Harold is using the world government. Let's see. Did Oda forget that it said that Fisher Tiger climbed the red line, or perhaps that was the story that was put in the papers by Morgans? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a story that Morgans put in the paper, because that would sell papers. This lone fishman climbed the entire red line in order to free all the slaves of sacred Marijois. Versus, oh, he was already a slave and he just started freeing people, but then it would cut into, like, how did he get free? That would ask a lot of questions for people on the outside. Shanks is a real good actor. Yeah, he is. It would be so fun if Shamrock and Shanks pull in Alfarius and Olmegon. I have no idea who those people are. Y'all are putting names out there of people I have no idea who are. Shanks should get an Oscar for his performance pretending to hate the lower class. I find it funny Shanks was allowed back into the Holy Land and Dofi wasn't. We originally heard that he climbed the red line from Boa. Yeah, true. He climbed the red line and Shanks helped him when he got caught up. You're absolutely right. Harold's hockey knows Shanks is lying. Oh no, Ida, Shanks wore the same outfit as Shamrock is wearing at Elbaf's current time. Meanwhile, Shamrock has been wearing the similar outfit to Shanks' current time, like having his top buttons open. Now we at least know that Shaggy is an Ida. Yeah, and thank you, Loki, for beating the living daylights out of the jerk that poisoned her. Woman, you ain't fine. Estrid, I believe. Loki's birth mother is trash. Yes. Estrid, yeah, that's a good name. That's a gold digger Estrid. Wow, how dishonorable. No! This might be the first time. Hold on, you guys have been saying so much more. I gotta catch up. Let's see, it must be the first time Haudodin is hearing how his mother died in this flashback. Loki, you remember when Alcohol Village burned to the ground 15 years ago? You're welcome. What can I say except you're welcome? For the people who killed your mom. Hey, it's okay to say you're welcome. They're better off of me not using bombs. I'm sorry. I've really tried. I was stretching that last one. Loki is my hero. Glad to see Loki showed his true feelings finally. Loki is making his way into my top 10. This moment right here. He destroyed an entire village because they poisoned the only person he considered his mother. Because he remembered. Here's the thing, though. It just calls into question Loki's ability to recollect things, because Ida literally threw him outside into the underworld literally after he was born. Loki remembers that. I'm pretty sure most of us here can't remember seeing our mothers when we were born and just looking up at at looking up at her at all. I'm pretty sure none of us can remember that, but Loki remembers the very day his own mother tossed him outside, right after he was born. He remembered that. And ever since then, he had to grow up to her, but he now considers Ida to be the only mother he ever loved. And mind you, remember when the narration says, like, this is a child that didn't want anything to do with love at all. But Ida, the same way Otohime warmed the heart of Saint Mjosgard, was able to have him experience what he was missing. Otohime to Mjosgard, humanity. Ida to Loki, genuine love. So I'm happy about that. Let's see, Loki's making his way into top 10. Also, these giants really are like the celestial dragons of Elbaf, huh? Yep, every single one of those elders, those Elbathian elders, literally saying like, we can't have a woman like that taking the throne as your queen. We must keep the gene pool pure. She is not of royal blood. Yeah, Loki moving up on my list. No break. Yeah, no break. No break after this? Less extreme, but they ain't far off. So do you think he killed the children in Bruce Village too? I won't say that he went out of his way to kill the children. Probably just the adults, because, I mean, you can't blame a child for the sins of the parent, right? You can punish the parents, though. Let's see. So that means that person Loki spoke on the Denden Uchi was Shirahoshi. Still unconfirmed. Kyushu's got a W community. Yes, we do! We all greet each other like we're family and stuff. Good to see you, CDs. Did you miss? Yes, you miss. You missed. Let's see, looking at Harold, have to shout out to Queen Otohime, the only person never successfully made a deal with the world government without losing anything. To quote, Kwame Brown, Harold is part of the Go Along, Get Along gang. Can you explain the time frame of Shanks' eyes? So did he already meet Kid Luffy before the eye? Given the fact that Shanks doesn't even have, like, stubble on his chin, I want to say that he meets Luffy after the fact. If anything, I want to say probably Luffy's probably either a baby at this time or he hasn't been born yet. But this is the time frame when he received those scars from Blackbeard. Let's see, I simped like Harold has for the world government before. I feel for you, bruh. I did once. Then I learned that she, didn't see me as the only person worthy of her attention. So, I cut that off real quick. Let me see. Shanks had the scar before he met Luffy. Didn't Queen Otohime lose her life? Yes, she did lose her life. But it wasn't the result of the world government. It was the result of Hody Jones and Vanderdecken. Completely unrelated. That's right, the whole Wako standoff happened before you were born. David Koresh was a cult leader who burned to death with his followers in a compound. Yee. Harold's a sucker for the world government. Let me see. I'm almost caught up. Let's see. By the end of the chapter, Shirahoshi would be like 1 year old, but Otohime died when Shirahoshi was like 8. I still gotta catch up. There's so much you guys have said. We then see Shanks have a bandage around his eye 15 years ago. Who gave him that mark on that eye? He ain't used his hockey then. I mean, it's already been confirmed that Blackbeard was more than likely the one who gave him the scar on his eye. Also, Harold led by the end of the chapter, the Lord Queen also even lost and also he met someone who lost Shanks before. Also, Harold said he met someone who looked like Shanks before. When was that? It can't be Garland because he's right there. Oh, I know I was responding to someone else. Q was fly this afternoon. Well, thank you. Ain't nobody dope like me. I'm just so fresh and clean. I'm sorry I didn't see you responded to that. Sincerest apologies. Let's see. Actually, Otohime died when Shirahoshi was 6. It's fine. Let's see. And I remember my 39. I remember my 3rd birthday, so maybe it's not too far of a stretch. She put that mental trauma on him young, and that's hard. Yeah. When he was young. The fact that he remembered that trauma all the way. Let's see, yeah, I keep thinking it was 8 years ago. You're right, it's 10 years ago. Died because Hody Jones assassinated her. It's nothing to do with her deal with world government. Fisher Tiger said on the deathbed he was actually a slave. I'm sure of it. Also, Ida didn't throw Loki off, and that was Estridge, but we knew what you meant. Yep, to the... If this is 15 years ago, Shanks is going to meet Luffy in a couple of years and will be in Elbaf with Gabin the next year. Exactly. Also, Ida showed Loki love that his worthless mother didn't. Time to hydrate. I'll worry about it later. So Harold dies next year, 14 years. Scar. Dang, so Loki probably made one of the children in the present an orphan that was kidnapped by Gunko. He was an infant, to be exact. I fully caught up to everything. What a chapter. There are so many concerning things with this chapter, especially with Marie-Joie. First of all, we finally got a different location in Marie-Joie. Shangara. The Holy Knights Temple. We officially have a new part of Marie-Joie that we can say we've been to. Even though we've just seen really the outside, we haven't seen the inside of it. But there's so many things to go over. So, it's summary time! Summary time, summary time, summary time, summary time, summary. Here it's time for summary. Oh, when I read, it fills me with glee. When I see you and you see me. Summary! Now it's time to see this whole thing because, what do you mean? The covenants. We have the Abyssal Covenants, which is made for, 13 specific individuals, including the Holy Knights as well. But we also have Shallows, and then we have Depths, and then we have Abyssal, each one having a different tier. So, One Piece. One Piece. Don't worry, I won't be long. Once I get done here, I'm going to eat the food that's sitting on my table right now that my dad brought to me, and then we'll continue with Sakamoto Days. But chapter 111, 67. 5 years after the God Valley incident, rumors began circulating among pirates about a huge figure attacking various pirate ships under a cover of mist. The culprit was none other than Harold, as the world government accepted his desire to atone for his people's misdeeds by having him work for them to uphold order and take down any pirates causing trouble. Yeah, this dude was pretty much the precursor to the Seven Warlord system. Meanwhile, some members of the Rock's pirates, namely Edward Newgate, now called Whitebeard, Charlotte Linolin, now called Big Mom, and Kaido went on to become emperors of the sea, while others like Ochoku and Shiki simply wanted territory. But of them all, the only one who was able to successfully conquer the Grand Line was Roger, who became known as the Pirate King. And sometime after his execution, various pirates took to the seas to find the One Piece, thus beginning the Great Pirate Era. To combat this growing era, giants were finally inducted into the Marines, while Harold was finally given an audience with the Five Elders. What does covenant mean? Oh, what does covenant mean? It's like a I think the best way to do it would be like a binding, not even a binding vow, but a binding type of bond that you have with either a group of people or one singular person. You know how mafiosos, and you've seen it in the movies all the time, they have a bond, like an agreement. It's like an agreement, but it's one that has conditions for it in order for it to be official, and there's also consequences if you break this agreement as well. So there's some things to it. Let's see. Also funny because 15 years ago, Shanks already has his crew formed, so I wonder what they're doing while Shanks is undercover. But let me get back to this. To combat this growing era, giants were finally inducted into the Marines, while Harold was finally given an audience with the Five Elders, who made him a devoted blade of God and bestowed a magic circle on his arm. They explained that the circle has 3 levels. What they gave him is the Shallow Covenant, which is the lowest stage. After that is the Depths Covenant, and the highest is the Abyssal Covenant. The latter two being only for 13 specified individuals chosen by Emu personally, who the Elders promise Harold will meet should the day come he is promoted to a Knight of God. Harold graciously accepted this honor, as he believed it meant Elbaf will finally be able to join the world government. and assures he will do whatever they request. Later, Garling gave Harold a long-distance Dendenmushi to contact him when they need him, and though he is allowed to return home, he is not allowed to share what goes on up top with others, which Harold understood. 20 years prior, Harold met with King Neptune where they drank and laughed together. Neptune expressed his beliefs that Loki isn't as bad as people say he is, and he's proven correct due to the fact that he exacted retribution for those who poisoned Ida. At least not as bad as Harold was in his youth. Neptune then told Harold that a fortune teller said he would have a daughter in 4 years, and suggested they can betroth her to Loki. Harold rejects this, but Neptune says she may be born with incredible power, to which Harold considers it, while humorously assuming Neptune's daughter will be Shaggy, while the latter refutes. Think you meant to say Covenant? Did I say something wrong? Yeah, Covenants is one thing, but Covenant is something else entirely. Sorry about that. Let me see. While humorously assuming Neptune's daughter will be Shaggy, which the latter refutes. That same year, Saul settled down in Elbath, and with Harold requesting he open a school, which Saul accepted. I'm pretty sure the elders are separate from God Knights. They are entirely. They are as close to Emu as anyone can get. So, yeah. 5 years later, a young fisher tiger attempted to escape Marigeois with some other slaves, only to come across a Knight of God. Just as Tiger prepared for a fight, the knight cut off his neck collar, see, I knew it, before telling him he left the armory unlocked for him and how to get there. This led to Tiger setting the Holy Land ablaze, which allowed several other slaves, such as Hancock, her sisters, and Koala, to flee. Harold is informed of this incident and meets with Garling and the rest of the knights, who believe one of them was responsible for allowing Tiger to escape. Garling then introduced Shanks to Harold, who is currently at the rank of Devoted Blade of God, but he was confident he would become a knight like Shamrock soon. Harold asks Shanks if they have met before, as he looked familiar, but Shanks denied this, calling Harold a peon and demanding he not speak to him like equals, at which point Harold backs off. Shanks then asks Shamrock to tell him all about the Holy Land so he can get the person responsible for the attack and rise up the ranks. This dude already getting information. Here's the thing. Shanks has personal information about Marigeois. So it's not like they're going to be able to say like, oh, you don't know anything about what's going on up there. Say, yes, I do, because I've been up there. And I had my own brother tell me everything. But let's see. But Shanks, let's see if they move for. Shanks then asks Shamrocks to tell him all about the Holy Land so he can catch the person responsible. It doesn't say catch here, but I'm adding that in. Catch the person responsible and rise for the attack and rise up the ranks. But Shamrock offers to wait until Shanks' injury healed, but Shanks refuses, saying he wasted 24 years of his life and wants to make up for it all. But Harold is still suspicious about Shanks. That year, Ida fell ill and no doctor was able to help her, which led to Harudin going out to sea to find one. Some considered contacting Harold and have him send someone, but Ida refused to drag Harold away from his mission, and she was confident she would get better over time, despite the others' beliefs. Ida's friends tell her that every time Harold comes home, he begs the elders to let him make her his true wife, even though Ida is content with running her bar and meeting various sailors, which she sees as her helping him in her own way. Loki later dropped by with some food for Ida to eat, claiming he just wants her healthy again so he can go to her bar. But Ida's friends believe he is extremely worried about her in his own unique way, to the point they consider him just as much her son as Harudin, which Ida was extremely touched by. Later, Loki visits Estrid's home village and discovers, to his horror, that Ida was actually poisoned by the residents. as they didn't want an outsider like her to become the queen, since that would mean they would lose their status and fortune. And they confessed this to Loki because they assumed, as Estrid's son, he would understand their decision. Instead, Loki set fire to the village and demanded to know if they were lying when they said the poison would kill Ida. Loki reveals to the giants that he clearly remembers Estrid casting him out into the underworld the day he was born, and as such he hates her and her people with a passion, while declaring that Ida is the only mother he has. So, here's the thing though. Loki's saying, like, she's not going to die, right? She's not going to die, right? Because if she dies, you die. He's asking that because he wants to hear the words, no, she won't die if we stop giving this to her. There's actually a cure for it. But I think many of us already know where this is going to go. And that's going to be, if anything, what if this is the reason why Loki just goes on an even bigger rampage? Becomes a problem. Simply because he lost the only person. Q, let's poll, see if she survives. Yeah, let's do that. Because I need to be doing polls more often. Let me see, and then see. I have a feeling of what it will be, but let me just put it anyway so people can take part. I can't even spell survive. What is wrong with me? All right, there goes the poll. Let's see. That's another thing that ticks me off. Harold, you are the freaking king. You don't need permission to marry who you love. Take a page out of let's see, Eddie Murphy's character. And Coming to America. See, that's the thing, though. See, this is what gets on my nerves about certain characters who have the power to govern their entire village, yet they rely on the words of people who don't have any power. They only have persuasive power, but not actual power within the nation. They still rely on, like, oh, we must consult the elders. The elders say kill all your family members in order to ensure the betterment of your entire nation. But I love my family. But this is what's best for the nation. Your family must die in order for our nation to survive. You gonna still listen to them elders? No, you gonna come across some dead elders. But yeah, it's like Halster says, it's a tradition thing. It's just like following tradition and deviating from that. You don't want to be a deviant, right? It's just like old habits die hard, especially if they're like up like past you in terms of just how into your culture it actually is. It's not something you can just easily overturn and then expect everyone to accept. And there will be people who won't accept. I mean, clearly, this chapter already shows that there will be people who don't accept Ida whatsoever. There will be people that just don't accept her. Calgata didn't. Calgata is an anomaly. What is going on with my video and why does it look gray? Why did that do that? That's weird. But yeah, I don't agree with it, but it's just like it's just stuck in tradition. Let's see, I am in agreement, though. I do think they have a separate agreement going on with Emu, which if that's the case, that means there's a spot open in the God Knight since Garling is an elder now. Yeah. So, I didn't even go over the little quick references real quick. So, 5 years after the God Valley incident, Harold was instructed by the world government to destroy any pirate ships that sailed into the Grand Line. At the beginning of the Great Pirate Era, the Marines drafted over a dozen giants. 24 years ago, Harold meets the 5 elders and Knights of God at Marijwa. The 5 elders assign Harold as a devoted blade of God within the Knights of God. According to the elders, there are 3 stages of loyalty within the Knights of God, with the latter 2 stages reserved for 13 individuals. The elders say that if Harold becomes a proper knight, he will know the depths of the world, and Elbaf will become a member nation of the world government. I don't like how the elders put, like, once you reach to a certain extent, you will know the true depths of the world. Wouldn't it seem more normal to say you will know the true heights of the world? But the evil and maliciousness and just the underhandedness of the world government does indeed go deeper. So the depths of the world is where all the secrets lie. Not not up high, but down below. It's something about that. Something about that entire conversation. Like you will soon, if chances permit, you will learn the true depths of the world. That's something about that just makes me uneasy. It's like delving into the dark of Dark Souls because dark is like an actual physical manifestation. It's not a metaphorical thing. It's an actual literal thing. Like dark is a thing in the world of Dark Souls. So it's like the deeper you go into a deeper dark. That's if you join the Dark Covenant in Dark Souls 2. I remember because I love hearing that guy talk. We shall usher you into an even deeper dark. Like that, an even deeper dark depths of the world. Something about that just makes me so uneasy. So going back to this. Let's see. Harold says if the elders say that if Harold becomes a proper knight, he will know the depths of the world, and Elbaf will become a member nation of the world government. At the Shangara temple, Garling says that they will communicate while Harold is in the lower world, but he cannot tell anyone about his activity. 20 years ago, Harold visits Neptune in the Ryugu Kingdom, discussing the future birth of his daughter. 15 years ago, Shanks returns to Marijois and becomes a devoted blade. Shanks had previously assisted Fisher Tiger in helping the slaves escape Marijois. So yeah, if that wasn't already obvious, he was the one who helped everybody. During the same year, Ida becomes bedridden from a worsening illness. Ida asks Mato to run the bar in her place. Now we know how that whole situation and agreement came about. Harudin and his friends leave Elbaf in search of a doctor. In Brewer's village, one of the villagers reveals to Loki that he poisoned Ida to prevent the possibility of her marrying Harold and disrupting the royal bloodline. In an act of anger, Loki beats up the man and burns down the village, declaring that Ida is the only mother he has. And just a little author comment here from Oda. I'm currently obsessed with 8D audio. It feels so great to be enveloped in sound. I want to remodel my room. So, this is where we stand. We're getting closer and closer to the moment where Harold dies and everything goes off the deep end for Elbaf. And then after that, we'll finally be in the present day. And here's the thing. What I like about this chapter that we got today, we'll discuss it more with the reflections tomorrow. We will definitely go in great detail about what happened here today. But we'll discuss it tomorrow because I'll have time then. Did he think that Loki was going to say, good job? No, it's going to be like, huh. So you poisoned the only person that genuinely loved me, huh? Okay. All right. I'm going to be right back. No, you stay right there. Stay right there. I got something for you. I got something for you. Just for you. Just for you and this whole village. Don't worry. I got something to reward you for your efforts. I feel like Ainz from Overlord going like, very well. You've done a great, magnificent service. Please, follow my attendants over here. They shall give you your just rewards. And those same people who killed that one son from that kingdom that they were about to overrun, they wound up being tortured for life. And then Ainz says, like, we'll give them to Neuralist. We'll find the families later. That's literally Loki towards these people. He was all like, oh, don't worry. I'm gonna be right back. I got something for y'all. I got something just for you. So the name's Covenant more solidly Emu's sea power theory? More solidified Emu's sea power theory. I won't... Actually, you make a good point, because they're all a reference to levels of sea. Shallows, depths, abyss. And that's when people refer to the abyss when it comes to the deepness of the ocean where you can't see it and most people rarely return from. So yeah, that's actually interesting. Every single one of these covenants is like a sea level reference. Interesting. And it's funny how these three different tiers correspond to to the 3 different worlds. Like, ain't it funny? Ain't it funny how when we saw this mural talking about the first world and the second world and the third world, and we see the depths being used more and more as the world continues to sink lower and lower into the ocean. But we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it later. And emu backwards is umi, which is sea in Japanese. Yeah, there's a lot of bruh, there's to know emu's true power, to know their true power. I'm gonna lose my mind once we find out what emu's power truly is, what it fully encompasses, and the grand scope of it. I'm gonna lose it. World government themes are sea and stars. It goes real low or it gets really high. You got the stars and constellation and planets with the elders, and then you get the deepness and darkness of the sea with the covenants of the holy knights. But we'll discuss this. Let me go ahead and end the poll here. So we got 86% saying that no, Ida won't survive. I'm going to go ahead and say that I count myself among that 86% myself. But we got 14% that says yes. Interesting. I think he's confident that Loki's going to share some inheritance. So the name is, they just said emails Loki to the guy that put an idea. It's time for that meeting, the meeting behind my foot and your behind. Really. But this was a good chapter. We've learned so much from this. We learned a lot from this. So let me get back to what I was saying real quick, and then I'll call it a session. I'm going to eat my food, then we'll continue with Sakamoto Days, then I'll react to the newest episode of One Piece, and then I'll get things prepared for the reflections tomorrow, because what's also happening tomorrow is literally Marvel Cosmic Invasion drops tomorrow. So I'm definitely going to be covering that game as well. But what I wanted to say is I'm glad we're getting this chapter on the last day of November, which means that every chapter we get from this point on for the remainder of December, and if we don't get any breaks during December, will be devoted to the remaining flashback of Elbaf. And who knows where the last chapter is going to leave us before we enter into the new year. But we'll talk more about that when I do my reflections. To every single person who tuned in here today, to Saw, to Ozzy, Holster, Ravi, Subject, everyone, I'm going by your handles because YouTube still thinks that having your handles exposed is much better than usernames that many of you have come to this channel with, and I immediately recognize you by. So I still don't know why we don't have an option to toggle that if we don't want to see it. But thank you, everyone, for tuning into today's session of One Piece. I'm looking forward to the next one because we're not going on break. To every single member, every single subscriber, it's already December here. Yeah, Ravi is already in the future. But everyone, thank you for stopping by. Members, thank you for being members. I greatly appreciate it. And to everyone else, I really do hope to see you again. This channel is getting closer and closer to 6,000. I definitely believe we're going to hit it very soon. But I just want to say, regardless if you subscribe or not, thank you for stopping by. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even check out my Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples. Time to eat.